So my husband and I, we get home from trick-or-treating and turn on the TV. We decided to watch The X-Files, as one does on Halloween night. And it's on Hulu, so we have to sit through the ads. Every single commercial was a Christmas commercial. It was Old Navy, Jingle Jammies, and Shop Kohl's holiday specials, and Black Friday is coming, and everything had Christmas music in the background. And I'm like, still in my Halloween costume as I'm watching this. And I'm like, am I in the Twilight Zone? Like, what's happening? And then I wake up the next day and all my friends on Instagram and Facebook, they're posting about how excited they are for Christmas and the countdown to Christmas. And I'm no Grinch by any means, but I was like, we just need to slow it down. Like, my Halloween decorations are still up at my house and y'all are playing Jingle Bells. So I don't know. Is that bad of me?
I am probably one of those Facebook friends that you saw who was like, I was in Vegas the day after Halloween, and I was walking around the strip wishing people a Merry Christmas. And on the way to the podcast today, y'all, I listened to Christmas music in my car that I put on like willingly to listen to.
Christmas music only reminds me of my time working in Armani Exchange at the Promenade in Santa Monica. And it was the worst thing to happen to me because all I can ever think of is people getting ready for Black Friday and trying to get deals off of deals that are already deals and just annoying messes everywhere.
Retail at Christmas time is hell, man.
It was, I mean, I made the most money at that time, but it was hell to get through. Yeah, exactly.
For me, I really don't listen to Christmas music until probably closer to Thanksgiving. If I start at November 1st to December 25th or so on, that's almost too close to 2 months for me, and I can't straight up listen to Christmas music for 2 months back to back. But I was also out of town for Halloween, and on the day after Halloween, I turned to my two friends who I was staying with, and I was like, Merry Christmas, guys. And they were like, Merry Christmas. So I was like, okay, they get the vibe. They understood the assignment. But I will say the only time that I would be willing to listen to Christmas music if it was November 1st is if I was at Disneyland, because I know they transitioned super fast from Halloween to Christmas. So that would be probably the only time I would listen to it before Thanksgiving time.
Christmas at Disneyland is like the most magical time of year. So I actually listen to like Disneyland music. Like I will turn on the soundtrack. It
just reminds you of Christmas.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, I feel like I'm walking down Main Street.
It is a feeling, and I hate that retail did this to me. Before, Christmas was such a mood and all the joy, and I was okay with the snow, and then all of a sudden,
trauma.
I am that person though that once Halloween is over, I am ready for my hot peppermint mocha from Starbucks.
I was Googling today, when does peppermint mocha at Starbucks come?
I'm ready for peppermint.
I went through the drive-thru and I got a fall drink and I was like, no, man, I want peppermint mocha. I'm listening to Jingle Bells in my car right now and the tree is going up this Friday. I need peppermint mocha.
I can't feel any of that because it's like 88 degrees outside.
Yeah, I was just going to say, like, how does Arizona Christmas? First of all, I went Halloween shopping and there was Christmas stuff literally on the other side of the aisle. Like, and also, why does Black Friday start on a Thursday?
Now it starts on Wednesday.
Yeah, it
This
is.
is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I will admit to some cognitive dissonance today when I was listening to Jingle Bells in my car and then I looked down and I'm literally wearing shorts, a t-shirt, and sandals.
And the AC is on in the car.
Yeah, it was. And I was like, I live in Phoenix, Arizona, don't I?
Coming in hot from Olympus Games in Mesa, Arizona.
It's the Pop Culture Junkie podcast.
All right, everybody, welcome to the Pop Culture Junkie podcast, your one-stop shop for news and reviews and all things pop culture. We are so happy to be back this week talking about the things we watched, the things we listened to, and the major headlines that you guys might have missed, need to know. Before we get into our reviews, let's start by introducing ourselves for anybody who might be listening for the first time. I am Haley.
I am Shauna.
I am Nicole.
This is Alex.
And we are your pop culture junkies. As I said, we're happy to be back. We're happy to be here. And let's just get right into it. Let's get into our reviews. Shauna, what have you been watching this week?
Okay. So I watched it before the Halloween episode, but we didn't get to talk about it. I saw the new Dune movie. Oh my God, y'all. This movie is freaking incredible. I watched it in IMAX, which is how I believe it should be viewed. This is going to sound so pretentious. You don't just watch Dune, you experience Dune, okay? Like the cinematography, the music, everything was so gorgeous to look at and so like haunting. The cast is incredible. Like Oscar Isaac is daddy and a half. I mean, he always has been, but in this movie, This was my first time seeing Timothée Chalamet in a movie, and I thought he did a really good job. He was really likable as the main character. Zendaya was in it for a bit. I do believe she's going to have a bigger role in the second film, which was thankfully greenlit, and they were only going to make Dune 2 if Dune 1 made enough money, but I mean, it dominated the box office the past couple weeks. So yeah, I'm definitely going to pop Dune. I thought it was beautiful. It was really entertaining and well produced and some good stuff, y'all.
So as someone who knows nothing about Dune, I've been kind of scared to watch it because, I don't know why this is, but I feel like I see the trailer and I think, this is going to be a slow movie of dirt and desert and a lot of talking in weird costumes.
That's exactly how I feel.
And so I'm like, I don't know if I can really sit down and commit. I'm one of those people where I'm like, I can't sit down and watch a 2-hour movie, but I can watch, 8 episodes of a show. Is it slow?
It is not slow. It is beautiful from beginning to end. And I'm not going to pretend like every 5 seconds is like an action scene, but there are a ton of action scenes. I mean, there's ridiculous sandworms. I mean, there's mass murder. There's the hints of a romance. I mean, this is a really interesting movie.
This is different than Mad Max, right? There's no worms in Mad Max?
It's totally. These are based off of some novels. There was a Dune movie that came out in 1984, I want to say. That is kind of laughable now if you watch it. The special effects don't quite hold up. There's a series of novels all in the Dune world. And this first movie covers half of the first book, and then the second movie is going to cover the second half of the book.
Wow.
But I definitely think you guys would like it. I mean, you like good stories, you like well-produced movies. The cast itself is just ridiculous.
Isn't Jason Momoa
Jason
in it?
Momoa is in it. Like, it's incredible.
Yeah, I really like Timothée Chalamet. I saw him in Little Women. And that was the first thing I ever saw him in. And I was like, okay, what's the hype about this kid? And then I was like,
Right?
oh, wow, I really, really liked him. So
that's what I went into this movie like, okay, why is everybody screaming about this guy? And I'm like, oh, okay, I get it now. The other thing that I watched this week was a CBS show called Ghosts. So I sought this show out because I am a huge fan of Rose McIver. She is the main character of the show. Well, her and her husband are, but she played the main character on one of my other favorite TV shows, iZombie. She always seems to be drawn to these spooky things. She was in iZombie, now she's in Ghosts. But the show is the remake of a BBC show. And it is about a couple who inherits this house that turns out to be haunted. And this isn't really a spoiler because it happens within literally the first episode of the show. She falls down the stairs, bumps her head, wakes up, and she is able to see all of the ghosts in her house. Her husband cannot. There's like 15 freaking ghosts in this house, and they all have very distinct, hilarious personalities, and shenanigans ensue. I know you watched it too, Haley. What did you think of Ghosts?
yeah, I liked it. I only watched the first 3 episodes. I feel like it has a lot of potential. I really like Brandon Scott Jones, who was on The Good Place. He plays this like revolutionary ghost that has a feud with Alexander Hamilton, which is pretty hilarious.
And he's very closetedly gay.
Yeah, and he's super pissed that Hamilton has become famous. And no, I like it. I like the backstories. I think it has potential. I won't necessarily pop it quite yet. I would like hot potato it. I think I got to give it a few more episodes, but I think the cast is good and it's got a good premise.
So this is the premiere, of the US version?
Yes.
Okay,
So
I think I've seen the BBC version.
Oh, cool. Oh, I'm going to have to check that out sometime.
It's pretty good, yeah.
I think there's been like maybe 5 episodes. I watched the first 4. I really liked it. I'm not sure if I really liked it because I just love Rose McIver so much and I'm just like clouded in my judgment. I am curious to see how they can continue it. I'm pretty sure every ghost is going to have an episode where it kind of tells their background. But at that point, I'm like, all right, what's going to happen? How far can we keep this going? Okay, she can see ghosts. And then what? Like, what's the plot of the show going to be?
I like this. I want to give it a try because the BBC version, I think part of the reason was that I didn't connect to the ghosts. But like now that there's ghosts that I'm familiar with Alexander Hamilton, maybe I can have some kind of connection to it. I mean, other BBC shows like Shameless and The Office, those are pretty big shows.
The ghosts are all super funny. There's like a tech bro from like the 80s and he doesn't have any pants on, but we don't know why yet. There's a Native American ghost, a hippie ghost who died at Woodstock, some guy with an arrow through his neck. Like it's
a Boy Scout leader with an arrow through his neck. Yeah.
Is there a ghost making clay?
They mentioned that in the first episode. They're like, listen, this is a great movie. It's super hot. It's called Ghost. So I'm going to lean more towards Pop It, but I do agree that I need to give it some more time.
Yeah, and it's on Paramount Plus, which I got Paramount Plus to watch a Cardinals football game, and now I'm stuck watching Ghosts. So that's how they get you.
What did you watch this week, Nicole?
I honestly did not watch much, but I did watch a new movie. Well, new to me at least. It's called Things Heard and Seen on Netflix. It has Amanda Seyfried and James Norton, and they are a married couple who has to move from the big city of New York to a smaller suburb outside of New York, Hudson Valley, because he gets a different job that he has to go do. And things become very sinister. She doesn't see a ghost. Her daughter can see a ghost in her room, but she definitely senses it. Amanda Seyfried senses it. And then she wants to find out the history of the house. She has 2 young boys who come in, kind of clean up her house, keep the maintenance outside, the grass and stuff clean. And they are the kids of the parents who used to live in that house. And the parents of that house died. The father was abusive. And then later, the husband of Amanda Seyfried, James Norton, who plays George Clare, he actually is a killer himself. And she ends up finding out and she kind of calls him out on it. And yeah.
As we would if you found out your husband.
Yeah.
Babe,
I think you're a murderer.
I found all these bones in our closet.
But it's actually a really good movie. It was definitely a good movie to watch around Halloween time because it is a little spooky. But if you're looking for a good thriller movie and a higher end actress, I would definitely give this a look on Netflix.
Yeah. I'm going to put that on my Netflix and chill list.
All right, Alex, what did you watch this week?
I watched Night Teeth. It's on Netflix. It stars Jorge Lindenberg Jr. You might recognize him from the MCU Spider-Man, Bumblebee, Alita Battle Angel. It also stars Debbie Ryan, Lucy Fry, Alfie Allen's in it, and there's an appearance by Megan Fox. It's directed by Adam Randall. The movie, it's about this kid who picks up this job as a driver for a couple women who then turn out to be vampires. And then there's some turf wars that I don't really understand and some history that never really gets cleared up. So
It sounds like you're dropping it.
Yeah, well, I'm saying I don't really have much to say about it. The only thing that I like about it were the visuals and their use of lighting. So I mean, yeah, pop it if you like pretty people, a forced storyline, and mediocre acting. But other than that, I'm just gonna drop Night Teeth.
Wah, wah.
I also watched The Last OG season 4 premiere, and it's created by Jordan Peele. If you haven't heard of it, it first aired in 2018. It stars comedian Tracy Morgan, Tiffany Haddish, Cedric the Entertainer, and it's about a man who was released from prison and returned to his old neighborhood in Brooklyn.
Is it a comedy?
Yes.
Okay.
So yeah, this this guy, he gets out of jail, he goes to Brooklyn and then sees that it's been gentrified. And this old school gangster trying to figure out his life in this new time. And Tiffany Haddish plays the mother of his children. And she's this important person in the fashion industry and is also married to a white man. But Tracy Morgan and Tiffany Haddish's character have twins together. So I think the show does a really good job at bringing in social issues into a heartfelt comedy, because that's what I feel from the show. It is funny. It's actually really funny. And it displays the effects of gentrification, the dynamic of co-parenting and interracial relationships, and a lot of these topics while still making you chuckle.
Nice.
It's definitely a show for everyone. So pop The Last OG on TBS.
I should check out that show because I really liked Tracy Morgan on 30 Rock, and I've kind of been waiting for him to do something else.
And he really holds the show. He does a great job at it. He's really funny. The other thing was a book that I got a hold of.
Look at us reading.
Right?
Aw.
Pretending
We know
to
how
be
to
some
read.
nerds.
Read here at Pop Culture Junkie.
Yeah, well, it's called Robert E. Lee and Me by Tai Seydoux. It was published earlier this year in January. And the author, Tai Seydoux, he's a veteran professor and a former Robert E. Lee stan. And he kind of like takes this deep dive into the history of like the Civil War and uncovering the lies and the like hidden truths regarding like what he describes as the most dangerous enemy of the United States, the Confederate States of America. And he makes this book like really personal as much as it is like a history lesson. So he like tells his story as a Confederate loving Southern gentleman that eventually becomes like disturbed like after learning like the cruel acts of like who he saw to be his childhood heroes. And this book I feel is like for those white people that need like another white person to explain racism to
Why
them.
should you not be a racist?
Yeah. And, you know, pretty much why white people should hold themselves accountable. But, you know, as much as like I feel weary most times about a white person talking about black issues, this book doesn't feel that way. It feels like, you know, it's a white person talking white issues. And I'm obviously not white, so I can't really tell like what that experience is like. But, you know, as a black man reading it, it felt like I was like outside looking in and getting like an inside perspective of like this, you know, the white man and like learning about some of the hidden history along the way. So if you're down to learn something, pop Robert E. Lee and Me, wherever books are sold, or check your local library, which is how I got a hold of mine.
That sounds so interesting. And I think it sounds like something that a lot of white people could learn is how to change your opinion when you're presented with new information.
Mm-hmm.
Just because you grew up thinking one way, if you have new information presented to you, it's okay to change your mind and to grow and to admit that. So I think that sounds
Yeah,
really cool.
it's really cool. You really see his kind of growth, or at least he explains it. Like in the beginning, you already know that he wrote this book for that purpose.
Yeah.
But, you know, he does a really good job in, at least in my opinion, in kind of dissecting who he was and
How he's
what were the
changed.
things that
Yeah.
changed him. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, sounds super interesting. Something I definitely need to check out. This week, I haven't really had a lot of time to watch a lot of stuff. I wrapped up Lock and Key season 2, which I mentioned before. I had just finished, and definitely worth watching. Previously popping it again. But also this week, Ed Sheeran came out with his latest album, released on October 29th. It's called Equals. It goes with his trend of naming his albums after mathematical signs. So this is his 4th full-length studio album, and it got mixed reviews from critics. They kind of thought it was formulaic, but I will say that as someone that likes Ed Sheeran, I like the formula, so I'm not complaining about something that is formulaic. Like when I listen to Ed Sheeran, I want a very specific thing.
You're not
I want-
expecting anything groundbreaking or out of the ordinary.
It's like I want easy pop. I want something catchy, probably a slow song that, you know, I can listen to on a date with my husband, and some like, I don't know, just, I will say his singles off this album, like if you liked the singles, you will like the album. So if you listen to Shivers or you listen to Bad Habits and you're like, oh, those are good, then you will like the album. If you didn't like the singles, you won't like the album because it's more of the same. I really love Tides, the lead song off this album. It's got everything in it. It's a little bit more rock oriented than the rest of the tracks, which are real heavy on pop and like synthesizer. And then the other song that I love, and it's one of the singles, is Visiting Hours. Like I cannot listen to it without crying. It's just so good. And it's, you know, he writes about things that he knows. He's not trying to be something that he's not. He's writing about his life. You know, he used to write about failed relationships. Now he's married and he's happy and he's in love and he's writing about that experience, and he's a father and he's writing about that experience. So I can relate to a lot of those things, which probably is part of why I like Ed Sheeran so much. But I'm going to definitely pop Equals. It's been on repeat and will continue to be on repeat for the foreseeable future.
Nice.
Hi, I'm Haley the Brave, teacher and mom by day, cosplayer and pop culture junkie by, well, also by day. I'm obsessed with all things fandom, and I love to talk about it. So join me and some of my friends as we geek out about TV, movies, music, and all the awesome things that make life worth living. Listen to my podcast, 30, Nerdy, and Thriving, available now on all major streaming platforms. All right, lots of things happening in pop culture and in the news. Keeping up with the headlines can be a challenge. So for everybody listening, we're going to recap the biggest headlines over the course of the last week, the things that you need to know. Alex, start us off.
All right. So one of the big things that's been happening this week is Facebook's transition to naming themselves Meta. And this is supposed to hold all of their companies that they own or all the products that they have, like Facebook, WhatsApp, Oculus. Because I watched about maybe like an hour or so of this like presentation. And it was really just a bunch of ideas. He didn't sell you on anything specific. It's like, we have these ideas, things that already exist, but instead, you'll be owned by Mark Zuckerberg in exchange to use his virtual world.
For your soul.
Yeah.
Will you explain what on earth Meta is? Because I'm very confused.
Well, I guess metaverse is just everything that's under Meta in this. I mean, it's not tangible because you can't touch it, but it's a virtual world. So, there's augmented reality, there's mixed reality, virtual reality. And I think what they're really pushing up right now is virtual reality.
Does he want us all to have little avatars of ourselves?
Yeah. So there's a way where you can have this second life. Oh, like the game Second Life that already exists, or IMVU.
This all sounds this sounds like a horror movie to me.
No, literally, they're all things that already exist, things that we already have, but under this metaverse.
Yeah, I don't like it. I have long thought that Facebook is sketch, and especially in recent weeks with the Facebook whistleblower coming out and everything, and the Social Dilemma documentary. If you guys haven't watched that, I don't know, it was eye opening. It was stuff that I knew, but just seeing it kind of all put together was just real creepy. And I don't know, this presentation, this idea of, like you were saying, virtual reality and everything's going to be under this umbrella and living this separate life. And I'm like, man, I have read science fiction. I have written science fiction stories about this very thing. And we always joke about in the future, we'll just have a chip in our neck and we'll hear Alexa in our brains. And I don't know, I feel like this is just one step closer to that.
And the thing is, too, he tries to sell it so hard. But, he's Mark Zuckerberg. So he's the way
very
he waves
awkward.
His hands and it's like, oh, yes, come use this.
He has barbecue sauce on the shelf behind him.
Right?
This is what a human has on their shelf.
Yes, we can use this for social activities or education or even just work. He's trying to make this.
Man, are we all going to be like the people in WALL-E where we're all just in our beds getting all stuffed?
That's
and
exactly
then
what I imagine.
our avatars are out there living things for us? Because I ain't about that.
We're kind of already like that.
Oh, no. Hey, I put on pants today.
The one thing I do like about this, or at least the one thing that I find interesting about this, I consider myself a time travel theorist. So for a while, I've been trying to think about ways to travel time. We're always traveling time in my theory. But anyways, this I feel could be a way to do that because part of their education thing is you can travel to ancient Greece or Egypt or experience these things in virtual reality. And I think too, Facebook has all these images of us, all these messages that we share. In a way, I feel like it's a database that we can eventually access virtually to travel back into the moments that we had.
Dude, that's interesting. I didn't even think about that. It's they have that tagged picture of me drunk at that house party in 2008. I could jump back into that and do that keg stand again.
And imagine somebody that you never met at this place also has a picture, and then images can be put together to create these virtual worlds.
I did see this week that Facebook is shutting down its facial recognition software. So they made an announcement that they're going to completely, wipe all of the information that they've already gathered and then stop doing it. It's that thing where it's is this you in this picture?
Yeah.
Or is this your friend? The artificial intelligence vice president, Jerome Pescinti, I believe it's pronounced, said that looking ahead, we see facial recognition technology as a powerful tool. For example, people need to verify their identities and so on, but we need to weigh the positive use cases for facial recognition against the growing societal concerns, especially as regulators have yet to provide clear rules.
Yeah, and that kind of tracks with what I've been hearing about the purpose or part of the reason they decided to do this name change is because Facebook has this nasty thing over it regarding just privacy. And so I think they're trying to be we're more in tune and more conscious about your private lives. That's why we called it Meta. We're still using all the things that,
We're still going to target you with ads consistently.
Yeah, so Facebook said that they're deleting 1 billion facial recognition scans, but it's keeping deep face, which is the model that is trained on all of those faces. So they're getting rid of that data, but they're still keeping
the tool,
the tool and the technology. So I don't know. I feel like it's a slippery slope because like Facebook owns Instagram. Like I can't tell you how many people I know that they're like, I'm deleting Facebook and only keeping my Instagram. And I'm like, that does nothing, you idiot.
Those are the same.
They're the same thing. But between that, I mean, Google knows so much about my life at this point. And I don't know, it's one of those things where all the time I think I just want to delete all my social media. I just want to like erase it all and get away from all of that and quit the data mining and, whatever. And then it's like, but this is how we live. This is how we interact. This is how we promote. I love being part of fandoms online and chatting with people across the country who are just as geeky about the stuff that I am.
This is how we find out about a lot of the stuff that we even talk about on the podcast is through social media and Google. Like otherwise, I just don't know how we could possibly have a podcast. I don't know how we could. I don't know. It's just like put up a billboard somewhere.
There's like a really interesting balancing scale here because in one end it can destroy humanity, but in the other it can benefit, our economical, societal, just life and like future. And it just depends on we as people how we decide to use that.
Yeah.
And Mark Zuckerberg, it's his. And we're giving ourselves to him. So, for me, I feel like it's up to him and really being responsible about navigating this because this is touchy.
Please be responsible, Daddy Zuckerberg.
I was definitely a lot more callous with my social media usage when I was younger. And because I think I got Facebook when I was in high school. Yeah. And so or even back in the days of MySpace, I just remember posting stuff. And sometimes Facebook memories will pop up and I'm like, I got to delete that. Like, who was that person? So I'm definitely more conscious about it now. And I think I'll continue to be more conscious about the content that I
have some very incriminating, just really things that will come back to haunt me. They're on the private, only I can see them.
But those are some cringe.
Those are some
absolutely
cringe.
And nothing on the internet is private.
Nope. Daddy Zuckerberg knows all.
And if he doesn't, Bezos will find out or something else. Well. All right, what else? What else is going on in the news?
I want to hear from Nicole about this whole Zayn Malik hitting Gigi Hadid's mom situation because this sounds ridiculous if this is all true.
Okay, so yes, Zayn Malik and Gigi Hadid were in a relationship and they have a child together. They are no longer in said relationship. Apparently, their relationship has been toxic for quite some time, but I believe this whole situation with Yolanda Hadid, who is Gigi Hadid's mother, pushed it over the edge. From what I have read, I don't believe Gigi was home, which is kind of strange because I read a quote that Zayn was kind of asking Gigi, why aren't you siding with me? Control your mother.
Oh, my God.
But from what I can recall, Zayn and Yolanda were having an argument at Zayn and Gigi's home, and Zayn was being very verbally abusive to Yolanda, and he physically pushed her up against the dresser and yelled in her face. And he's claiming no contest to this. He does not want to really bring it out to the public because he says he wants to protect his daughter.
Protect your daughter by harming her grandma.
Yeah,
yep.
So
Smart.
He's kind of just being very quiet on the whole situation. And Bella Hadid, who is Gigi Hadid's sister, she kind of came out and made a comment kind of shading Zayn on Instagram. So yeah, Zayn was being very verbally abusive to Yolanda, calling her an effing Dutch slut, which...
A Dutch slut? That sounds like a drink. I'd like the Dutch slut, please.
I think I want one.
Dude, he's talking to the grandma of his daughter, the mother of his girlfriend like this. That is absurd.
And that's the thing, that's why it makes sense that this has been going on for a while. At least the relationship has been toxic because you don't just flat out just punch your mother-in-law or your daughter's grandmother in the face for no reason.
Out of nowhere.
Yeah, so I'm reading like the fans coming to Zayn's defense,
Oh my
right? Or whatever,
God.
which obviously you're going to have like One Directioners or whatever. But this one girl posted that Yolanda leaked Zayn and Gigi's breakup in 2018. She leaked Gigi's pregnancy before Gigi and Zayn got to reveal
Yeah.
it. She leaked Kai's face to the public when Zayn and Gigi made it clear that they wanted Kai's face out of the public eye. And then I was reading about how apparently Gigi's mom ran this like trapped Zayn in this anxiety intervention and said that she needed to drain out his anxious blood.
What?
And
Yeah, she is very problematic in herself. She was on The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills quite some time ago, and Gigi and Bella made appearances on there, and oh my God, I think she would either talk about Gigi's mental health or like physical health, because obviously Gigi's a model. She's quite skinny.
Yeah.
And she would talk about like her like eating habits and stuff like that on
It's like personal things
National-
that probably don't need to be said in
Yes.
public.
But I did pull up the Bella Hadid Instagram story. This is a quote from someone, not herself. I can do nothing for you but work on myself. You can do nothing for me but work on yourself.
Cryptic.
Yeah, so
I mean, okay, Yolanda Hadid sounds like a bitch, but nobody deserves to be physically harmed like that.
It's giving me like Johnny Depp, Amber Heard vibes,
Yeah.
where it's like two really toxic individuals, and then the clash, you know, the inevitable clash happens.
Well, yuck all around, but especially to Zayn Malik. Yuck, sir, I say yuck.
I will be very interested in how this all plays out and what actually happens. Like if he'll probably not serve any time, but if that like will come to some point in his life where
I had to
that will
laugh
come
at
up.
the people being like, no, Zayn and Gigi broke up. Love isn't real. I'm well, that's what you were anchoring that belief on?
Oh, that was love, all right.
I could see that coming from a mile away. Oh, man. Well, some yum instead of yuck. My favorite headline this week was about Pete Davidson
Oh, my
and
God.
Kim Kardashian at
Speaking
Knott's Berry
of love.
Farm. I love everything having to do with Pete Davidson continuing to date incredibly hot women who are way out of his league.
I'm obsessed with Pete Davidson and his love life. Like,
Wait,
it's-
hold on. So this is real? It's not a
Yes,
joke?
dude.
Well, okay, so here's the deal.
Okay.
So they were at Knott's Berry Farm. They were spotted together, hanging out. It was like a group of people. It wasn't just them.
They have mutual friends for sure.
Okay, yeah, I
right,
can
like,
see that.
because like MGK and Megan Fox and then Travis Barker and
That makes sense.
Kourtney Kardashian, right? So they're all like friends, right?
Huh. Their boyfriends start to look the same.
Right.
During when they. Wow, I just realized something.
Yes, the Kardashians clearly have a type all of a sudden.
But
now.
they have to date in groups.
Phase
Right.
types.
Yeah.
Well, and Travis and Kourtney are engaged now, right? So
Yeah.
it's like taking it to the next level. So Pete and Kim were at Knott's Berry Farm. They were spotted on a roller coaster holding hands. And
But they were like screaming and holding
Okay,
hands
yeah,
on
I
a roller
could do
coaster.
that
like
with-
friends,
yeah, that makes
like
sense.
friends
Yeah.
would, right? But then the internet just blew up and rumors and all this kind of stuff. And my favorite thing to come out of it was this headline that said, Kim Kardashian spotted in Pete's hometown of New York City.
Native NYC.
Yes.
And everyone's like, oh, I was recently in Kim Kardashian's native Los Angeles. So let the rumors spread.
Someone's like, I am only referring to New York from now on as Pete Davidson's native.
Pete
town.
Davidson's New York City.
And then everyone's like, wait, isn't he from Staten Island?
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask.
Oh my God. I was in LA this weekend and I was with my two friends and we were walking to Starbucks and we just got on the topic because I saw someone who looked like MGK. And I was like, hey, MGK, where's Megan? I don't know. And then we just got on the topic, whatever. And I was like, you know what? I bet you Chris plans literally every relationship that they're in because they will date someone. It'll become super irrelevant. And then all of a sudden, like 2 weeks later, they're dating some
Yeah.
random person who would never, ever expect them to date. So they can be in the headlines and get their stories across. Because obviously, yes, I do love the Kardashians, but please, like, what is your talent? Why are you famous? I mean, Kim, we know why you're famous, but we won't get into that. But like, seriously, I'm just like, this is literally like Chris knows what she's doing
she
and she does
does.
it very well.
She understood the assignment.
Yes.
So, okay, Pete Davidson has been with Ariana Grande, obviously. Wasn't he with Kate Beckinsale for like a hot second?
Yeah, that was crazy. That was crazy. That was
That
the
makes
craziest
no
of all
sense.
of them to me because like Ariana Grande, I was like, okay, she was with Mac Miller, so like I can kind of see that, right? But yeah, with Kate Beckinsale, I was like, oh wait, she is like hot and normal, and what is happening?
Yeah.
And he was rumored to be linked to Kaylee Cuoco for like a minute, but they just, because they made that movie together. But I saw the article today said they're just friends, but Kim is quoted as saying that she finds him intriguing and she is interested in him. And there's quite an age gap, I think, between the two of them.
Yeah, Kim's like 40 something.
And I want to say he must be in his late 20s.
Yeah, because he's younger than MGK.
I mean, that's the age gap with him and Kate Beckinsale, too. I think she might even be older than Kim.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to this being on SNL if it hasn't already, because I like how he pokes his own self, like on all the headlines.
I completely agree. When he like goes as himself and like he made fun of his relationship with Ariana, I could totally see him doing that because Kim hosted SNL a couple weeks ago. And apparently that's how they met. Or maybe they didn't, that's not how they met, but it kind of rekindled this flame or whatever. But I also read a quote that said that Pete uses SNL as his quote personal dating service.
Well, so Kim Kardashian hosted SNL just a few weeks ago, and in a skit she played Jasmine and he was Aladdin, and they kissed in the skit. And so that has only like fueled some of the rumors. But I'm just fascinated because like I think Pete Davidson's funny. He's self-deprecating. I've heard some of his like the stuff where he talks about his depression and his anxiety and stuff. He could be like really insightful. But there is no part of me that is attracted to Pete Davidson.
Really?
None at all.
Okay, disclaimer, I love my husband. I would let Pete Davidson destroy me. I will be that next person on that list, Pete.
I don't get it. Like I can't wrap my head around it.
He looks like he's lost a lot of blood, and I am here for it.
Oh my gosh. If there are any other drugged out weirdos who don't bathe, apparently
He's one of those.
Shauna will be interested.
If you're a squirrely looking suspicious white man
with horrible tattoos.
Hit me up on my DMs. Please don't slide into my DMs. Those are clogged enough.
I mean, it sounds like the Kardashians might get there before you do.
They've gotten there.
They stake their claim on squirrely white men.
Squirrely white men.
On that note, that's it for this week's episode of Pop Culture Junkies. We are happy to have you guys here with us listening week in and week out. We really appreciate it. Before we go, let's let everybody know where they can find us on social media. Shauna?
You can find me at Shauna Trinidad, SHAUNATRINIDAD on Instagram and Twitter.
Nicole?
You can find me on Instagram and TikTok at Nicole_Eldridge and on Twitter at NAEldridge14.
Alex?
I'm at ALCASNUN on Twitter and Instagram.
And you can find me, Haley, on Twitter at 30nerdypod and on Instagram at 30nerdythriving. You can also find us on our website, popculturejunkie.com. You can find our merch, all of the latest news, reviews, headlines. Be sure to follow us on Facebook. Join the Pop Culture Junkie support group for all the best discussion and memes to get you through your week. You can follow us on Twitter at Pop Junkies and on Instagram at pop.culturejunkies. Be sure to come back next week for another hit of pop culture.
Pop Culture Junkie is a production of Pop Culture Entertainment Group. All rights reserved.